Activism is the action of using vigorous campaigning to bring about political or social change. Now, for some time, with the introduction of smartphones, a lot of people have taken this campaigning and frustrations to social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and this is what we understand as hashtag activism. So today, we'll be looking at hashtag activism, also known as clicktivism. Hello guys, and welcome to Scale of Knowledge again. I'm your host Sally Kivaya, and today on our show we have a guest, and I would like to welcome her to give you a brief description of herself.
Well, thank you, Sally, for inviting me to this show. My name is Irene Asua. I'm a political scientist and an environmental activist.
Activism has been around, but for some time now, with the introduction of smartphones and social media, a lot of people took activism to the social media platforms. What is your own understanding of online activism or hashtag activism?
So my understanding of online activism is when people take to social media platforms. So most of the time people use Twitter to have hashtags trend and to vent about what they feel they are not happy about. Sometimes people use Facebook as well.
So for a while, for a while now, people have been demonstrating or expressing their anger, expressing their issues on social media. Why do you think that people found social media comfortable for them to use, other than for them to just go on the streets and demonstrate or go on the streets and express their frustrations? Why do you think they found, especially Twitter, why do you think they found it easier for them to express their frustrations, their feelings?
People have some kind of fear or passiveness or something. So people find venting online a little bit easier because no one is seeing you. It's just you behind the keyboard, and it's easier to shout when you are at a comfort somewhere than when it's on the street where you're likely to have running battles with the police, or it's kind of a tiresome thing to do, because you have to organize, you have to prepare on how you're going to do the follow-ups and stuff like that. So people don't want to put in that much effort. So therefore people find venting online easier. Venting online is not necessarily a bad thing, but we need to go beyond the keyboard at some point. It can be a good starting place, but at some point we need to go beyond that.
So we have seen various social media campaigns. Kwanza on Twitter, we have seen hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag Truth Be Told. How do you think these campaigns are organized so that they have an impact, so that they can trend and communicate the message that they intend to pass to the people?
Okay, so for an online campaign to be effective, it also needs an amount of planning, unless it's spontaneous. Like for instance, how government sometimes gives information abruptly, like the Uhuru Park thing, the Nairobi National Park issue, the SGR issue, many other issues. However, for us to have people to really understand what is at stake, and also to give people time to find more about what we want to talk about, it's usually advisable that you have some kind of planning, so people already have a grasp of what we want to talk about and what we intend to achieve.
Also, for you to pass messages or to express your frustrations on social media, to have an effective campaign, you also need to organize.
For us to pass, like if we have bare minimums that we want to do, there needs to be some sort of planning. So we have to look at what does the Constitution say why are we entitled to this? What part of the legal and policy framework are we looking at? So it's good to have that. Who are we targeting? Which state agency specifically deals with this? Yeah, so that's why it's important to do that.
How do you think the hashtag activism has impacted our community?
It has continued to pacify the community, unfortunately, because now people think for something to be done, then they have to vent online, and then it ends at that. I think you have also seen how online spaces at this time are also being censored. So people don't really get the information, like the intended audience don't get information. Somebody reports your Twitter account or your Facebook account. There are intimidations that come in your inbox and stuff like that. And then not everyone is online again. If you understand, there is big inequalities in the country, so not so many people will have access to that information, except for those that have smartphones. And if they have smartphones, again, it also depends on where they are, because some of us tunadandia free Wi-Fi, or we are waiting for the night bundles, or you have to work to get the bundles, so that affects the timing of how that information reaches the people.
Let's go for a short break. We'll be right back. Because not everyone is comfortable with demonstrating, and we know we have rights and people have freedom to express themselves. Some would like to express themselves on social media, some would like to express themselves on the streets, some just like to organize and mobilize the community, but they are not actively being seen. So how do you think we can use the social media platforms to amplify to amplify our messages so that it can reach many people and it can impact change?
So we can use social media as a tool of mobilization and amplification, just as you have said. But fortunately or unfortunately, for us to have impact, we have to go beyond social media. So we can use it to mobilize, pass information on what needs to be done. We can use it to amplify. We can use it to pile pressure on different duty bearers. But then for the impact to be felt, people really need to go beyond social media, because we are dealing with human beings here. We are not dealing with robots who will receive information as it is and act. So for us to have that impact, we have to go now beyond social media. However, I have to accept that there is some level of effectiveness that social media has helped us with. So in terms of just getting information out there to reach people, and now at this time we have used it for political education classes, we have used it to share relevant material to people. So it is important as a tool of communication, of amplification and of mobilizing, but for impact to be there, we really have to put in the work physically. Like I've said, it can change the world if it is supported by the actual work. It can change the world, again, if what people are putting online is the right ideological and politically right education. I am avoiding that word because it has been misused, but people really need to put, like, people have to be ideologically grounded, so that when they are venting on social media, they are not doing things in isolation. So for the Black Lives Matter and the police brutality issue, the tweets that should be going out there should not be police brutality as an isolated case, but as a symptom of a failed system that has many other weaknesses altogether. So we can ride on the same to highlight economic issues, to highlight social issues. Like for us, if we are talking about police brutality, it's not just that. It's about the loans. It's about what they are doing to green spaces. It's about how political parties have become effective. It's about how unions have become depoliticized. It's about how public goods and utilities have been privatized and people are not receiving them. So when people communicate as a wholesome systemic failure, it becomes effective.
The most common way people give out power is by thinking they don't have any. And one of the power we have is the right or freedom of expression. And we can use this on the social media platforms, we can use this on the streets to portray our frustrations, to express our rights, and to demand for change in our society.